This is a mixed vegetable production farm. We grow over 160 varieties of fruits, vegetables, and flowers here on the Hoffa farm. We grow from anywhere from tomatoes, cucumbers, sweet potatoes, red potatoes, to zinnias, dahlias, and also raspberry, blueberries, asparagus, plums, and tart trees. Hoffa, or Hmong American Farm Association, we are a membership-based nonprofit organization. So in order to participate or be eligible for that, you need to become a member of Hoffa. Farmers farm here anywhere between 5 to 10 acre parcels. We work primarily with farmers whose livelihood derives from farming. We currently have 18 farming families on the Hoffa farm. The Hmong American Farm Association started in the fall of 2011. We acquired the Hoffa farm in 2014. It's been working tremendously. The biggest thing is that the Hoffa farm allows Hmong farmers to have land tenure. Land tenure means that farmers would have this land for a duration of time and not on an annual basis. And one of the biggest challenges that prior to Hoffa, farmers were jumping from one land parcels to another land parcels. And for that reason here, that they really couldn't incorporate sustainable practice in there. If they want to build a soil health and soil fertility, they were a little reluctant to, because not knowing if they would have land the following year, that wasn't necessary to really invest into the sustainable practice of building the soil health and soil fertility of the land. We have been involved with a number of programs or services that are provided by NRCS. Their work has been just tremendous. In our first year here, we were EQIP recipients, where we actually created a comprehensive plan on the farm here, that we were able to identify a consultant to work with us to create a pollinator-friendly habitat here on the farm that kind of give us a better picture of what are the next steps to really promote sustainable practice, as well as to build a vibrant ecosystem. NRCS has been tremendous, especially once we first started Hoffa. Of course, there are a lot of protocols and say, hey, when we talk about the land here, we got to talk about sustainable practice. And needless to say, it's not that Hoffa doesn't practice. We practice it, but NRCS really supports us and say in elevating that sustainable practice here to become good steward of the land, telling us like, okay, there's a little rolling here that you should also consider about, contour planting here. Tillage is how you should focus on as well too, like how much tillage should happen, let alone that because we're a mixed vegetable production farm here, that pollinators is critical. And so NRCS has always been part of the process, kind of helping us create a system here that would be environmentally friendly, eco-friendly, and also supportive of our mixed vegetable producers. As every Hmong farmer comes to Hoffa, we always introduce them to USDA programs like NRCS, Natural Resource Conservation Services. And it's those opportunities that can really help and uplift your farm business operation. And that's why we are so committed to supporting NRCS and the work they do, because they're always looking at the best interest of the farmer here. And what are the best ways to do it from a stewardship perspective as well too. And so in every route here that every farmer comes through, we always work with them and try to funnel them through in the various different programs that NRCS provides. We have multiple high tunnels through the EQIP program. Some of them are staged out into the farmer's field, but clearly back here we actually have 2 high tunnels, and one of them is a result of NRCS here kind of supporting us in this process. And then we have about 4 farmers that also incorporate flowers into their farm business operations. Flowers production is really more so to kind of diversify their produce or their market opportunities besides mixed vegetable production. Flower production has been to kind of really add to the vibrancy of the farmers market system, and that's the reason for it. First of all, second of all, there is a higher premium that comes across with flower production than there is with mixed vegetable production here. And the labor is not as intensive as well too. This is all zinnias here. And zinnia has been extremely profitable for our producers, for flowers to their fresh market or direct to consumer markets here. And they're just beautiful. You can see just the vibrancy in the colors here that it really light up the Hoffa farm. But not only that, but zinnias also have a number of good soil health implications as well too. It's not about just that, but it's about using zinnia as a potential cover crop here to really suppress weed production, so that it makes it easier to build good soil health here. There's so many honeybees sucking on these zinnias here that it builds a great ecosystem. And not only that, but through flower production, that it's great. It really supports our farmers with integrated pest management here. As you start introducing beneficial insects through these flowers here, that will fight off all the bad insects that are affecting the cole crops, such as broccolis or the Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and the cauliflowers here. Beautiful monarch right here too, it's just great. On the Hoffa farm, we are in rolling terrain and there are some areas that are considered highly erodible land. So we took that out of production, and that consists of about a 3-acre site here. We put in that into our pollinator habitat, include a number of native forbs and grasses and flowers in that area. But on top of that here, because of the rolling terrain here, that we also know that there's a concern when, especially with climate changes that we're seeing here, heavy treacherous rain, that working with NRCS, we were able to implement 2 grass waterways that runs about 2,000 feet long here on the Hoffa farm to really kind of prevent soil erosion, not about just the soil, but impact the farmer's production as well too. And in that process, Hoffa had worked with NRCS to kind of create the first of its kind, a pollinator-friendly grass seeding is what we've incorporated into this. That would be right over here, and they can see one is running on this side here, 500 feet the other way, that would be the other grass waterway site, and that's kind of the longest run here. It's about like 1,500 feet long. The grass waterway program here was an EQIP program. We also have a wetland restoration site here that NRCS has helped us with incorporating to a pollinator-friendly wetland restoration site. The wetland restoration site is actually located on the very north end of the property, with maybe about 30 feet away from the Vermilion River here. And that's the reason for the wetland restoration site. So that was through an EQIP program, but also in contingent with CRP. So what we've done is we've taken these areas or these plots out of production here and put it in a conservation reserve program, where NRCS actually oversees as well too, in making sure that the sustainable practices are put in place here. Hoffa Farm is actually located in Dakota County, and we work specifically with the Dakota County office of the NRCS here. We work diligently with Michelle Wooler. NRCS has been phenomenal. They have been very responsive and supportive, and really guide us through what are the best practices that Hoffa should consider as we work with this. And considering that Hoffa, we work differently than any other farm. We're not a single family owned farm, but we are more of a land cooperative that we work with a number of farmers here. In this process, NRCS has always been not just engaging directly with Hoffa as an organization, but they would come out and they would meet with our farmers through our training sessions and introduce them about the NRCS programs, as well as perspective of what are best practices, soil health and soil fertility, how do you kind of sustain your farming and being good steward of the land here. So they have been phenomenal in every increment of the growth of Hoffa. On the sustainable practice here that is used on the farm here, we do a number of contour planting, polycropping, intercropping or interseeding cover crops into their cash crop. So this is truly a mixed vegetable production that not everything is done on large scales. And for that reason, because there's also those succession planting, so they grow in smaller increments so that once the season is over with, they would actually till that under, and then they would come in with another cover crop, or they will come in with another crops here for a later planting. In one growing season, they can potentially, say for example, green bean, they can get 4 plantings of green beans or 5 plantings of cucumbers here on the Hoffa farm. Hmong farmers are truly innovative as well too, that they actually are growing sweet potatoes that normally in this cold climate you don't see it being grown. Or they're growing peanuts here on the Hoffa farm. The majority of the vegetables, the produce, and the flowers being grown on the Hoffa farm, their primary market is the farmers market system. A number of them are affiliated with the 2 main markets in Twin Cities metropolitan areas here, the Minneapolis and also the St. Paul Farmers Market. Those are the 2 big markets. But then again, our farmers are also affiliated with a number of small municipal farmers markets around the Twin Cities metropolitan area as well. Hoffa offers them an opportunity here through our food hub. That's also another avenue for our farmers to diversify their income so that they're not solely at the mercy of the farmers market. And so farmers will also bring their produce into the Hoffa Food Hub, where we would actually send it to work with contract with Carleton College, with Bon Appetit here. We have also contract with Minneapolis Public Schools, Hopkins Schools, St. Paul Public Schools. And then we also work with the small restaurants and stores around the Twin Cities metropolitan area. The Hmong farmers, they love it. Hoffa is not about just providing them land access. We support our farmers in learning about farm business management or financial literacy here. During the winter month here, we provide quite a robust training program and focuses on anywhere from soil health, soil fertility, whole farm planning to food safety practices. We also provide food insecure families with a fresh box of produce on a weekly basis for 28 weeks. I've been farming with my family for the last 25 plus years. We grew up farming as a way to pay for our private school tuitions. And my parents are immigrants to the United States here. They've always instilled in us that the key to success in the United States is through an education. What it does is it teaches us about good work ethic, right? It teaches us about like the work ethic of being a farmer. If you take the same work ethic anywhere in your profession or in your career here, you will be successful. But at the same time, it also teaches us that there is such a need for food, and food access is so critical in our community as well too. And then in that process, that it's more of a holistic approach. That's not about just being a producer, but it's about being a good steward of the land as well too. Once we start abusing the soil, the air, and the ecosystems here, that we wouldn't be able to generate the produce that's necessary to feed ourselves as well as our community. So I said, thank you much here. I wish you the best of luck. I wish you the good health and wealth going forward in your business operations.